By now, I'm sure you must have tried one of these food trends for sure. And if not, join hands with me and let's make together sourdough starter. I know with lockdown in place, yeast is not available these days, and so many of us, I mean the entire internet world, has tried making their own sourdough starter. And why not? It's been a best thing that I could ever do in these 2 months, and that's what I'm going to share with you all today. That is A to Z of making your own sourdough starter using just two ingredients, which is flour and water. Yes, just two ingredients and 15 days of your time, or say maybe 10 to 15 days of your time, and you have a beautiful starter all ready to be used in bread of your choice. What is a sourdough starter? Now that's a $1,000,000 question, right? So a starter is basically a combination of four things: flour, water, yeast and bacteria living together in a symbiotic harmony, so they each benefit from each other's presence. You definitely need some kind of leavening agents to rise your bread or cake for that matter. Now that is what a wild yeast in here does. But wild yeast needs food to grow and multiply and thrive and build a beautiful environment. So where does the food come from? Simple, it comes from the flour. So the wild yeast eats the sugar present in the flour to grow and multiply, and as a byproduct releases carbon dioxide and ethyl alcohol. Now this process, that is the carbon dioxide, is what causes the bread to rise, but it gets trapped. Where does it get trapped? It gets trapped between the gluten strands formed. And who forms the gluten strands? It is formed by the flour and water. So now you see how everything is interrelated. So the sugar present in flour is the food source for yeast. Yeast then produces carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide causes the bread to rise and to give it a structure, and it rises, but where does it go? It gets trapped between the gluten strands formed by the water and flour. So these are all linked to each other, and that is what exactly the role of a yeast in a sourdough as well as be it any bread happens. And that is why you need a sourdough starter to rise your bread and to get a edible form out of just water and flour. Now I know it seems super intimidating when you hear, and with all the things going on around you, everyone is making a sourdough starter and everyone is coming up with so many issues, so many success, experiments, trials and whatnot. It may seem intimidating, but don't worry, after all it's just two ingredients. What else could you go, where else could you go wrong, I mean. Waiting for, let's get started.
So let us start by measuring our empty glass jar. So note down the weight of your jar. At this stage it is not important, but it is always a better idea to know the weight of your jar, so that you know sometimes if you go wrong in calculations, this comes handy. I'll explain it why in some future videos of our bread. So for now, simply note down the weight of your jar and then weigh in 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. If you are watching one of our videos for the very first time, then please do consider subscribing, as I post new videos on baking and desserts every single week. And now rest assured, sourdough bread recipes are coming up, are lined up next. So please do consider subscribing. Okay, now all you have to do is give everything a mix. Just mix, mix, mix until there are no dry bits of flour seen. Each and every part is hydrated. That's it. Pat your back because you have just made your own sourdough starter. That's it. It's so simple, right? Simply cover it loosely with the lid and then mark it so that you can measure it, how much it has risen or whether it is rising or not, the bubble activity, so on and so forth. So it's always good to mark everything and then note down the readings. This is very important so that you keep a track of how much you have fed your starter, how much you need to feed, when you have to feed, and all. I know it may seem a bit confusing, especially if you are a beginner, so to ease your life, I have made a sourdough starter tracker in a PDF format that you can download for free from our blog post and keep a track of your starter. It is actually super handy. Do check it out. Oh, and by the way, you have named your starter, right? I have named him Pebbles.
24 hours later.
So after 24 hours, give a quick stir to your starter jar. Make sure that you are degassing and then remove out, then discard 50 grams. So it is always important and necessary to take some out before you add in a fresh batch of flour and water. Yeast needs that environment to grow and thrive. So always discard first and then measure out 25 grams of flour and 25 grams of water. Mix everything until all the flour is hydrated, and that's it. Set it aside for another 24 hours. So we will be feeding our starter once in 24 hours. Once every day. Right. Yeah.
24 hours later.
Okay guys, good morning. It's around 5:30 a.m. now. And can you see a distinct brown line on our pebbles? So it seemed that overnight my starter had risen so much. There's a line here and then dipped back and dipped back to where it was started. So which means, and there's a brown line in between. So it means that my starter needs more feeding. This little baby is still hungry. So we are doing a feeding one day right now, but I'll have to take out 50 grams from this and add the 25 grams of flour and water once again, because this is a clear sign stating that our starter is hungry. So I'll just note down. Since there is a formation of hooch, I'll be feeding this starter on day 3 twice, morning and evening. And from day 4 onwards, I will continue once per day, depending upon the development of hooch and how our yeast is growing.
24 hours later.
So on day 4, 5 and 6, there was no activity. There were small bubbles in there showing that the yeast is present and alive, but there was no significant rising, neither big bubbles or anything of that sort. And that is how it will be. So don't lose hope. Just continue the routine of discarding 50 grams and feeding 25 plus 25 and keep feeding your starter. So finally, we are on the 7th day, the D day. The routine remains the same. Discard 50 grams from your jar, add in fresh flour, 25 grams and 25 grams of water. Give everything a mix and let it rise. But today, in around a span of 4 to 6 hours, you should start seeing the yeast activity doubling in size. So make sure you mark the jar so that you can record about the rising that is going on in the jar. Don't get disheartened if you don't see any, because that's also normal. I found this pattern only with my bread flour, but not with the other two that I had tried, that is with all purpose flour and wheat flour. I could find the doubling activity only on day 10th for my wheat flour. So that's okay, it's totally fine. I have explained this and everything in detail on our blog post, so make sure you're checking it if you have any doubts. A starter is usually considered to be at 100% hydration, which means it has equal amount of flour and water. So let's suppose you need 200 grams of starter for a recipe. Then it means the starter is made of 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water. For example, if you need 150 grams of starter, then you would go 75 plus 75. If you need 300 grams, then you would go 150 plus 150. You get the gist, right? To prep your mother starter, a general rule of thumb is to always discard some out of it, feed it fresh food, use it in a recipe, then feed again and store. If you follow the recipe that I have shared, you will always have 100 grams of mother starter. So from that, we will discard 50 grams, and to the remaining 50 grams, we will add the additional 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water as per the recipe. So let it rise until doubled, then use this 200 grams from it for whatever you are making, whatever bread you want to make. And to the remaining 50 grams, we will add in fresh flour and water and store it. The discard from here can be either treated as discard or used to make pancakes, waffles, crackers, etc. or you can treat it as a young culture and add the 100 grams of flour and 100 grams of water to this instead. Allow it to rise and use it in your recipes. So you might have seen or read in recipes where it asks you to use your starter when it is at its peak. But what exactly is a peak? I was super confused when I started making my own bread. So let me share you what exactly it means. So can you see the blue line over here? This shows that the starter had risen up to this point, and after a certain period of time, say about staying in that stage for an hour to 4 hours depending upon how much flour you have used. So depending upon that, it would stay till the blue arrow for that much time, after which, due to the lack of food, it would start falling back. So if you could see the pink line, it has started falling back. This indicates that you cannot use the starter at this stage. You have to use your starter when it is there on the blue line itself. I would say take a day before you actually want to bake your bread and observe your starter about in what duration it's going to that peak stage, how long does it stay in that stage, and how much flour you have added. So it becomes easier for you to understand when you are ready to bake the bread. So I understand it is too much to consume in one video, and hence I have written down everything under one roof on the blog post, the direct link to which is in the description box and in the pinned comment section as well. When you come to the blog page, you will first find the introduction part, and when you scroll just a bit, you will get to the pages section. So let me just show you. Yeah. So this is the pages section that I was talking about. So just click on the section that you would like to read for that day. I have divided everything into pages for the ease of understanding. Just read through whatever you want to learn. If you're just starting out, I would recommend reading the first 5 pages and then come back when in doubt. So I have this entire, for example, I have this entire section on frequently asked questions, which covers all the queries that I got on our Instagram live bake along series. And apart from that, there are ways on how to store your starter. What if you don't bake regularly? What if you bake regularly? And so many other different aspects that are covered in this particular series. Also, I'll be updating the sourdough post with some discard recipes as well as some beginner friendly recipes. So do keep a tab if you would like to. And while you're here, make sure to grab your free copy of the sourdough tracker. So there you go, just download it for free, and I would recommend it especially if you are a beginner and just starting out in this huge world of sourdough.
I hope you guys liked this video and got some value for your time. Do remember to download your printable copy from the site spicesandflavors.com. I'll leave a direct link for the same in the description box below as well as in the comment section. Also, please do consider subscribing to our channel as I post new videos on baking and desserts every single week. Join us on Instagram for more Bake Along series. I'll see you soon in my next one. Until then, this is Sushma signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.